Hello guys, it's Revolution. So first of all, before I get onto the topic of this video, I want to promote my new Discord server. It is for Dragon Ball power scaling and debating. It of course includes other verses, etc., and even sports if you're into those things. The server is entitled The League of Dragons. Make sure you join the server and get involved. Have your say on all these verse battle and power scaling topics in multiple different verses. I will leave a link down in the information section of this video, as well as the pinned comment of this video, so join as soon as you can. So the Jiren vs Broly wars have been going on for nearly 2 years now, ever since the end of the Dragon Ball Super anime, running on to the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie where the new villain Broly came about. People have been pitting these two against each other in titanic battles. Obviously you'll know my opinions on this certain topic on who wins. I've recently been on Saiyan Scholar's channel discussing this verse battle in depth. In fact, I'll even say that that particular verse battle discussion was probably the most in-depth discussion on Jiren vs Broly that I know of. Of course, even if you think you've got a final conclusion in the battle, you should always ask questions of that battle to see if there's any weaknesses in your argument or look for anything that could support the other side. You should try to remain as unbiased as you can and look for the best arguments, what you would call the principle of charity in the opposing side's point of view. However, this argument keeps popping up, and it's referring to the Jump magazine's article about Jiren lightly using his power and surpassing all of the gods of destructions. Now, this argument isn't new. It's not new at all. It was around when the Broly vs Jiren wars first started, and it was debunked pretty quickly, and for very good reason. However, there's been a bit of slanting on what this particular article is trying to portray, and I'm going to get down to that in this video and tell you, Jiren fans, why you should stop using it. Now, I know I said Jirenettes in the title of the video. Don't take it personally, it's just a bit of banter. I get called biased all the time, even though I'm very objective on this matter. Plus, I also don't really care who wins. I don't like any character between Jiren and Broly more than the other. I like them both. If you've been following my channel for a while now, you know that I prefer Merge Zamasu over both of them, yet both of them would slap Merge Zamasu. It's a no-brainer, there is no bias here, but if it makes you sleep better at night, keep peddling your nonsense. In fact, all that is one of the lowest level arguments you can make in a verse battle power scaling debate, an appeal to motive. If you happen to appeal to motive, appeal to fanboyism or bias, it means that you don't really have too much to go on. You're literally looking for any way out, and is likely just self-projecting and is a self-reflection on yourself. And for the record, I did not create the Jirenette name. I don't know why people are attributing that to me, but it is funny. It is funny, but like I said, it's just banter. Anyway, onto that specific article. It states that Jiren lightly using his power surpasses that of all gods of destructions. This just so happens to be on the same page as the oft-used other article that states complete Ultra Instinct Goku might have surpassed Beerus. Now, the slanting of this argument is trying to say that this is a subjective and objective advocation of what the two articles are representing. Nonsense. Let's break this down pretty easily. So, who writes the Jump magazine? Well, obviously it's the Jump magazine's writers or editors. Those two sections of that particular medium are involved. Who doesn't write the Jump magazine? Well, the Toei writing staff, and certainly not Akira Toriyama. Now look, we've discussed weight of sourcing on this channel before. If it's from an official source within the franchise itself, no matter what the weight of it is, if it's from the official franchise itself, then it should hold some merit. Even if it holds little merit, it holds more merit than fan opinion. Or should I say, headcanon. Now, the reason we use these kinds of sources is to supplement the main source material, which is obviously the manga for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and the manga or anime for Dragon Ball Super and the anime for Dragon Ball GT. If the main source material has a plot hole or something that remains unexplained by the main source material itself, you look to this supplementary material to hopefully explain that situation. And ultimately, all it ever really does is act as a placeholder until the main source material either confirms it or contradicts it. The Jump magazine is one of those pieces of supplementary material. It is an official source. It should be taken seriously. Does it contradict itself sometimes? Yes, it even does in this instance. But there have been other situations where you could say, well, that contradicts the main source material. And obviously, the main source material takes precedence over anything in the Jump magazines. But if the main source material doesn't contradict it, then obviously it holds some weight. However, in this instance, this has clearly been written by the Jump magazine's writers, not by the Toei writers. If it had been done by the writers, them having Beerus himself say from a character's point of view that Ultra Instinct Goku might have surpassed him basically takes precedence over the supposed objective statement from the other part of the page, which is likely just from the Jump magazine's writers. Basically, it didn't come from the Toei writers, and this whole notion that Beerus is trying to save face, get real, because these characters aren't real. They are just the narrator's voice. They are tools for the authors and the writers to convey their story. They are not living, breathing organisms that want to get their opinion across. Beerus didn't just go, hang on a minute, Goku's turning Ultra Instinct, let me just rin the Jump magazine and state that he might have surpassed me. Let me just get this propaganda out there so I can save face and I'm not embarrassed. Oh shit, look, Jiren's turned awakened. Forget it guys, I'm going to watch this fight. Didn't happen. That statement either came from the Toei writers or had the permission of the Toei writers, which takes precedence over anything in the Jump magazine because that will count as main source material. If it didn't come from those guys, then it obviously came from the Jump writers, which basically wrote two articles that contradict each other. And not only that, the Jiren article is not consistent with how the rest of the franchise is portraying Jiren. 80 to 90% of sources put Jiren at the level of Gods of Destructions, not above it. Now, I've made my opinion clear on this. I think Awakened Jiren does surpass all Gods of Destructions due to him beating Ultra Instinct Goku. Now, you can hark back to episode 93 all you like and say that Whis confirmed it in episode 110. All he ever did was confirm that Jiren had reached the state of the gods, perhaps surpassed it, which is a very similar sentence to might have surpassed Beerus concerning Ultra Instinct. Whis never went on to confirm or reaffirm the fact that Jiren had surpassed all Gods of Destructions. And I know for a long time people were considering that Jiren in his very suppressed state may have surpassed Belmont in episode 110. However, with new information we've learnt that that just simply makes no sense and would mean that an abundance of other characters in the Tournament of Power surpassed all Gods of Destructions, including the likes of Kefla and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, and we know that hasn't happened. So we can only infer that it means he was always talking about Jiren's potential full power. So you have more than a valid argument to say, well, Whis never thought it necessarily to confirm that Jiren had surpassed all Gods of Destructions. Maybe his perhaps didn't come to fruition after all. But ultimately, if you take both of those articles from literally the same page in the Jump magazine in correlation to each other, they contradict each other. That's why using this particular article stopped being used in the first place. How can a character that is lightly exercising his power in episode 127, who is being forced to power up from his true power against a Super Saiyan Blue Evolution character that is exhausted, by the way, a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken character and Android 17. It's not even Super Saiyan Gogeta levels. Facts. Anyway, how can that character be stronger than a character that only might be weaker than Ultra Instinct Goku? Initial Ultra Instinct Goku slapped full power Jiren. There was no might about it. Ultra Instinct Goku was definitely stronger than full power Jiren. Awakened Jiren, different story of course, but full power Jiren was not as strong as Ultra Instinct Goku, whereas Ultra Instinct Goku might be stronger than Beerus, according to Jump. And if you really want it to be subjective, then they've got that from the Toei writing team, which means it takes precedence over Jump's article. Like I said, I don't believe it does. I believe they are both from the Jump article magazine's writers, and they both hold just as much weight as each other. However, they both contradict each other, so you have to look at which one is more consistent with the rest of the sources. Even Toei lists Jiren at the level of Gods of Destructions, not beyond it. Like I've said, based on current scaling, I do place Awakened Jiren slightly above Beerus at full power. Is Beerus still a moving goalpost? Yes and no. I've covered that in other videos. But there are characters that scale with Beerus, including Super Saiyan Full Power Broly, Vegito Blue, Ultra Instinct Goku, and by extension Awakened Jiren. Unless the main source material says otherwise. But to conclude this video, stop using this source from that article because it makes no sense in congruence with the rest of the series. I mean, I could double the length of this video why this source doesn't make sense, but ultimately I think I've made my point in this video. Until then, that's how you scale it. And for the record, guys, I always lowball characters because by doing a lowball, by going for the lowest common denominator, you're getting the most accurate figure to date based on all the information you have. If you go for mid balls or high balls, you're basically putting out theories or hypothetical power levels. Yeah. It doesn't really work in verse battle situations, does it? Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Make sure you join the League of Dragons on Discord. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. smash that like button, lend the Daishenken your energy. Until next time, Ad Astra.